Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 35 based on novel. So let's start. A white-clothed woman on the stone tower gently gripped a jade ring with her hand. Her black hair fell over her shoulder. She had an extremely beautiful face and her skin was as white as snow. Her brow was like a picture. Her appearance caused her every frown and smile to be filled with a charm that could not be hidden. Is he the owner of the third silver tower? The white-clothed woman lifted her head. A faint smile surfaced on her extremely beautiful face as she said, "I?" The black-clothed man nodded. He smilingly said, "I heard that fellow is called Lindong. Based on the information I obtained, he seemed to have snatched that silver tower from the hands of a profound death stage elder from the demonic wind cave. Being able to snatch an item from the hands of a profound death stage elder, he is truly no simple individual." The white-clothed woman smiled slightly. Her eyes quickly turned towards a certain direction of the city before she softly asked, "I wonder what Brother Pang Hao intends to do. Since he has arrived, we will naturally have to invite him. After all, we require the strength of 3 silver towers in order to open the cave." Pang Hao curled his mouth. However, his smile seemed to have contained a deeper meaning within. The white-clothed woman gently lifted her eyes and said, "Lindong cannot be compared to us as we have support from the mysterious Sky Hall and the 9 Serene Gate. Based on what I know, he should be a lone wolf. Although the various experts gathered on this island might not dare to snatch our silver towers, if Lindong was to expose himself, it is likely that he will attract a great deal of trouble. A silver tower is nothing but trouble in the hands of someone without strength. It is better to surrender it in order to preserve one's life." Pang Hao gently rubbed his hand over his teacup and laughed faintly. "I am only helping him to make the right decision, else he would only end up being targeted by others after entering the reincarnation cave. At that time, he won't even be able to flee." The white-clothed woman did not say much after seeing this situation. Her indifferent character meant that she clearly did not care about a person whom she barely knew. Pang Hao smiled and stood up. After which, she stood at the edge of the building. His eyes swept around. At this moment, there were many experts surrounding the city and there were some powerful individuals mixed within. When they saw Pang Hao, many of them licked their lips, while some greed surged within their eyes. After all, they greatly coveted the silver tower in his hands. However, the 9 Serene Gate had sent many experts this time around. It was likely that none of them would gain any advantage in a fight. Lindong was hidden in the city. His eyes narrowed as he looked at that black-clothed man. It was possible for him to detect a familiar ripple from the latter. That ripple was emitted from his silver tower. It seems like he should be one of the 2 other owners of the silver towers. The leader of the 9 Serene Gate's 4 demon generals, Pang Hao. It is rumored that he has a silver tower key in his hand. I have heard of this fellow. It is rumored that he had advanced into the advanced profound life stage 1 year ago, right? How frightening. He is able to reach this level at such a tender age. In fact, he could even rival some of the experts from the older generation. The white-clothed lady on the building is the Holy Lady of the mysterious Sky Hall, Liu Xiangshuan. She is one of the top beauties in chaotic Demon Sea. She might be pretty, but I'm afraid that no man is able to enjoy her. How can such a woman be subdued by any man? Lindong heard the private conversations being emitted from his surroundings. He lifted his brow slightly. It was unexpected that the people on the stone building were actually from the 9 Serene Gate and the mysterious Sky Hall. No wonder the silver tower key in his hand was behaving unusually. However, Lindong suddenly thought of something and narrowed his eyes. Since his silver tower key was behaving unusually, it was likely that the silver tower keys in Pang Hao and Liu Xiangshuan hands had also detected his, right? Lindong lifted his head. He looked at Pang Hao, who was standing at the edge of the building and looking down at the entire city. The expression in his eyes changed slightly as he suddenly grabbed Mu Lingshan beside him. "Let's go." Lindong did not explain after uttering those words. He pulled the somewhat uncertain Mu Lingshan before turning around and heading towards the outskirts of the city. However, Lin Dong had only taken a couple of steps after grabbing Mu Lingshan and turning around, when a laughter resounded over the sky. After which, countless pairs of eyes were suddenly rotated before they stared at Pang Hao on the building. Let me tell everyone a piece of good news. The owner of the third Silver Tower key has already arrived at the Sky Lightning Sea region. The city was initially quiet for a moment after Pang Hao's words sounded out. Following which, waves of uproar suddenly erupted in the next instant. Some of the experts looking on with indifferent eyes from the side, also suddenly revealed an expression of wild joy in their eyes. There were only 3 keys to open the cave. 2 of them had already landed in the hands of the 9 Serene Gate and the mysterious Sky Hall. Owing to the domineering strength of these 2 major factions, there was naturally not many who dared to target them. Hence, most people were eyeing the owner of the third Silver Tower. According to the rumors, the owner of the third Silver Tower did not possess an overly renowned background. Moreover, he was merely at the initial profound life stage. Although no one knew how he managed to snatch a Silver Tower from a profound death stage expert, it was obvious that he was a much easier target compared to the 9 Serene Gate and the mysterious Sky Hall. Oh, Brother Pang Hao, if this person is really here, we will have to trouble you to invite him forward. After all, everyone wants to open the cave and it is not good for him to hide himself. A man carrying a moon blade in the air above the city laughed loudly. This person had many scars on his face, giving him a rather fearsome appearance. Only those who knew him were aware that this person was also quite a well-known expert in the chaotic demon sea. That's right, that's right. We will have to trouble the 9 Serene Gate to invite that friend forward. Although his voice was soft, there were many who echoed their agreement. However, anyone could see the surging greed in these people's hearts. Lin Dong heard the voices that filled the air from within the crowd as his eyes gradually turned icy cold. Mu Lingshan's large eyes, who was being pulled by him, also revealed a great fury. A silver light suddenly descended from the sky while Lin Dong's eyes were filled with chillness. After which, it covered Lin Dong and Mu Lingshan in front of the countless number of stunned eyes. My friends, since you have arrived, do show yourself. Pang Hao smilingly looked at the duo being wrapped by the silver light and said. Countless people around Lin Dong were initially startled upon seeing this scene. With a swish sound, the originally crowded spot immediately became empty. Subsequently, many heated gazes were shot onto Lin Dong. Lin Dong was expressionless in the face of the countless pairs of heated eyes. However, a murderous desire flashed deep within his eyes. It seems like Pang Hao was trying to make him into everyone's common enemy. It seems like traveling to the chaotic demon sea was indeed extremely dangerous. Even a person whom he had never met could smilingly push him into great danger on their first encounter. Lin Dong slowly turned around in front of the countless fiery hot greedy eyes. He lifted his head and looked at the grinning Pang Hao on the stone building. He spoke in a faint voice, "Your scheme is truly brilliant." Pang Hao smiled. It looked as if he did not comprehend the meaning of Lin Dong's words. Instead, he smilingly said, "My friend, since you are also an owner of a Silver Tower key, why don't you come up and have a seat?" The white-clothed beauty on the building shifted her eyes. After which, they paused on the countless ferocious wolves surrounding the young man below. Was this person the one who had turned the Heaven Wind Sea region upside down and snatched the Silver Tower key from the demonic wind cave? Lin Dong's expression was indifferent as he glanced at Pang Hao and said, "I appreciate your invitation. However, I am currently a little busy and I will not be able to stay." Lin Dong did not utter any unnecessary words after speaking, as he turned around and tried to leave. The current situation was not in his favor. Originally, he was planning to temporarily conceal his identity and only surface when the cave was about to open. He had never expected that his identity would be exposed by Pang Hao right after he arrived. It was likely that he was going to be targeted by many people now. That bastard. Lin Dong clenched the hand under his sleeve tightly. There was a dense murderous intent surging in his heart. Clearly, Pang Hao's actions had stirred his desire to kill him. Pang Hao smiled as he watched Lin Dong turned around and left with Mu Lingshan in tow. However, he did not stop the latter. Instead, his eyes simply contained an increasingly sadistic playfulness and ridicule. Lin Dongduo walked directly out of the city through the ancient stone street in front of countless pairs of eyes. The many pair of eyes around them resembled those of greedy and ferocious wolves. After Lin Dong had walked to the end of a street, his expression began to gradually turn gloomy. This was because a couple of human figures with fearsome auras were standing proudly in front of him. Waves after waves of powerful yuan power fluctuation slowly spread. "Are you Lin Dong? Hand over the silver tower key and I will allow you to leave." Lin Dong's eyes became completely dark after he heard the dense laughter. He immediately released Mu Lingshan's small hand and softly sighed. It seems like simply running away was not a solution. Ultimately, the only way to deal with these ruthless characters was to be even more ruthless than them. Standing beside him, Mu Lingshan turned her head. She subsequently saw a ferociousness and brutality surging within Lin Dong's eyes. 4 blade-holding human figures stood at the end of the ancient street. These 4 figures were wearing blood-red robes with blood blade patterns, while a bloody scent faintly scattered from their bodies. The auras of these 4 individuals were relatively powerful. Judging from their mighty yuan power fluctuations, the 4 of them had all stepped into the advanced profound life stage, while their leader was at the peak of the advanced profound life stage. Countless gazes looked at the 4 human figures. After which, some whispers swiftly spread. "It is the Blood Blade 4 generals of the Blood Blade sect. The leader is Lu Zong, right? Those 4 fellows have ended up taking the lead. These people are really impatient. I wonder how Lin Dong will fare against these 4 people? They are experts who have already made a name for themselves in the chaotic demon sea. The 4 Blood Blade generals specialize in fighting together. If the 4 of them join hands, even a perfect profound life stage expert will have some difficulty. This Lin Dong is really a little unlucky." Bloodthirsty smiles were revealed on their faces when the 4 red-robed human figures heard the numerous whispers from their surroundings. The leader slightly cocked his head and looked at Lin Dong. The blade scar that cut from the corner of his eye across his entire face made him appear rather sinister. "Lin Dong, hand over the silver tower key. In any case, even if you do not have the key, you will still be able to enter and tour the interior once the cave is opened. It is not worth to risk your life because of it." Under the crowd's attention, the slightly droopy-eyed Lin Dong suddenly released a soft sigh. After which, he slowly lifted his head. That somewhat young face suddenly revealed a ferocity that caused fear to rise within one's heart. "Get lost." A simple phrase which did not possess much emotion emerged from Lin Dong's mouth. After which, his surroundings became a little quiet. Many pairs of eyes contained various emotions as they looked at Lin Dong. It was likely that they did not expect the latter would actually be so unreasonable even at this moment. Did he not realize that the 4 individuals in front of him were bloodthirsty fellows whose hands were dyed with blood? "You have guts." The face of the red-robed man with a blade scar trembled slightly. Soon after, his mouth parted into a smile. A smile that was filled with killing intent. "Remember my name. Lu Zong from the Blood Blade sect. On account of you bringing the silver tower key, I shall let you die knowing who killed you." The smile on Lu Zong's face widened. After which, his eyes instantly turned as dark and ruthless as a viper. "Kill him." Bang! After his voice sounded, majestic yuan power suddenly erupted from within the bodies of the 3 individuals beside him. The blood-colored long blades in their hands reflected sinisterly cold lusters under the sunlight. Fury flashed across Mu Lingshan's large eyes as she watched this from beside Lin Dong. She was about to take out the life-death coffin cover to turn these people into mincemeat. However, she was stopped by Lin Dong's extended hand. "Allow me." Lin Dong spoke in a soft voice. Looks like he had been mistaken from the start. It was laughable for him to avoid and give in to others in such a place. The experts present here were from the chaotic demon sea, and licking the blood off their blades was a common affair for them. If he wished to keep the silver tower key, he had no choice but to make others fear him. These 4 were the best choices for making an example. Mu Lingshan nodded and withdrew. She was rather well aware of Lin Dong's strength. The four individuals before him might not be kind existences, but it would be extremely difficult for them to take advantage of Lin Dong. Sharp blades flashed in front of Lin Dong while Mu Lingshan withdrew, as three figures rushed towards Lin Dong in a ghost-like fashion. Their blood blades slashed ruthlessly, drawing tricky arcs as they viciously struck at Lin Dong's vital spots. The attacks of the trio were extremely well in tune with each other. Adding their advanced profound life stage strength, the might of this attack caused the expressions of many to change. These four blood blade generals did indeed have some ability. Little brat, you can only blame yourself for not having the capability and yet possess something that you should not have. The trio's sinister faces rapidly magnified in Lin Dong's eyes. Sharp blade glows swept forth, and directly landed on Lin Dong at lightning speed. Cruel expressions appeared on the faces of the trio when the blade glows landed on Lin Dong's body. It was as though they had already witnessed the bloody scene of Lin Dong's body being dismembered. However, clear metallic sounds suddenly rang out as those cruel smiles appeared on their faces. After which, they suddenly felt an extremely great force from their blades. The force directly caused their hands, which were holding the blood blades, to turn numb. The three of them lifted their heads in shock. However, the places where their blood blades had landed on Lin Dong's body were as hard as metal. The formidable blade auras could not even split Lin Dong's skin. Such a sturdy physical body. The expressions of some individuals gradually became grave as those countless watching eyes hardened. You actually dare to try and rob others with just this little bit of strength? Lin Dong slowly lifted his head. He gazed at the three individuals who now had a little horror in their eyes, as a mocking look appeared on his face. Ominous glints immediately appeared in the eyes of the three advanced profound life stage experts when they heard this. Immediately, Yuan power exploded. The blade glows turned, and three blood-colored blade lights cut through the air and cut at Lin Dong's throat like scissors. Creak! Lin Dong suddenly extended his hand. Green light surged, and four green dragon light tattoos flowed over his arm. Subsequently, he grabbed at the three blood-colored blade lights and ruthlessly crushed them. Green light flickered as the three blade lights were directly shattered. Second brother, pull back quickly. As Lu Zong watched this scene, his pupils abruptly contracted as he suddenly shouted. Lin Dong's strength seemed to have exceeded their expectations. The expressions of the three profound life stage experts suddenly changed after hearing this cry. They immediately turned around and hurriedly withdrew, trying to escape. However, the young man who had yet to attack seemed to have turned into an awakened lion while they were beginning to withdraw. Murderous intent surged out from both of his pitch-black eyes like floodwaters. Everyone only saw a flash of green light. Lin Dong's body already appeared in front of the trio in a ghost-like fashion. For green dragon light tattoos surged on his arm as he threw a punch forward. An incomparably wild and violent fist force flew forth. The three advanced profound life stage experts clenched their teeth, as three intersecting blood blades slashed while their majestic Yuan power was completely brought out. A fist suffused with green light ruthlessly struck the three blood blades. After which, a dragon roar resounded. Green light erupted, and three blood blades exploded in an instant. Wild and violent force was transmitted into the bodies of the three advanced profound life stage experts from the broken blades. Each of them immediately spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, as their bodies flew backwards in a miserable manner. Three advanced profound life stage experts suffered a crushing defeat after a single punch. However, the ferocity within Lin Dong's eyes was not reduced after sending the trio flying with a punch. His sleeve abruptly swung as three shattered blade pieces suddenly cut through the air at shocking speeds. After which, they pierced the foreheads of the three individuals under the numerous changing expressions. The sound of blade pieces cutting through flesh caused the hearts of many to quiver. After which, they watched as three figures fell from the sky. Immediately, their pupils shrunk. This Lin Dong was really a little ruthless. Brat, how dare you! Lu Zong was also stunned by the scene before him. Soon after, bitterness and resentment suddenly surged in his eyes. He never imagined that Lin Dong was even more ruthless than them. You should also accompany them. In your next life, remember to first think it over before finding your target. Lin Dong lifted his head and smiled indifferently towards Lu Zong. Soon after, everyone saw 10 green dragon-like tattoos suddenly rise from the surface of Lin Dong's body. 8 green dragon-like tattoos wrapped around Lin Dong as his body turned into a flash of green light which abruptly shot out. Blood Ancestor Soul Slash. Exceptionally majestic Yuan power maniacally swept out from within Lu Zong's body. His eyes were full of bitterness and resentment, as the blood blade in his hand suddenly slashed downwards. 1,000 feet large blood-colored blade glow suddenly whistled out. The entire ancient street was forcefully shattered by the formidable blade aura at this moment. Green light swept past. In the next moment, it collided head-on against the blood-colored blade aura under countless watching gazes. After which, a dragon roar resounded. That seemingly huge and sharp blade aura crumbled instantly under the assault of the green light. How is this possible? Lu Zong watched as the green light reflected in his eyes was being magnified at lightning speed, while horror gushed in his eyes. His powerful attack was unable to be of even the slightest hindrance to Lin Dong. Bang! Green light seemed to penetrate space. It destroyed the blade aura like a hot knife cutting through butter and shot towards Lu Zong like a sharp arrow, before penetrating through the latter's body. Fresh blood flew. Green light gathered behind Lu Zong's body, before slowly fading, as Lin Dong's body once again appeared under the many watching gazes. Lin Dong's hands gently fell at his sides, while Lu Zong's body fell face first onto the ground. Horror and fear still lingered on his face. One-hit kill. The crowd watched as the victory was decided in a split second. Several people quietly inhaled a breath of cold air. A peak advanced profound life stage expert had been killed in such a manner? Who else still wishes to have this silver tower key? Fresh blood slowly dripped from Lin Dong's hand. He lifted his head, showing pitch-black pupils filled with indifference, while his cold voice spread throughout the entirety of the suddenly silent city. The originally chaotic city seemed to have quietened down at this moment. Many pairs of eyes were shocked as they stared at the young man at the end of that ancient street. The brutalness that was being emitted from the latter's body caused even the pupils of some ruthless individuals, who licked blood from their blades, to shrink. No one expected that Lin Dong would actually kill Lu Zong's group in a thunderbolt-like fashion within a split second. Many of them were even anticipating an intense battle to occur. However, no one expected that the battle had already came to an end as the green light flashed. Moreover, there were now 4 corpses streaked across the ground. Everyone could clearly sense just how decisive Lin Dong's split-second attack was. He did not even give Lu Zong's group any opportunity as he took their lives the moment he attacked. This ruthlessness caused everyone to understand that though this person in front of them might seem young, but if anyone was to treat him like a little inexperienced fellow, it would likely be quite foolish. Due to Lin Dong's ruthless methods, no one dared to say anything after his dense words sounded out. The original few individuals, who were about to stir trouble, also suppressed the greed within their hearts. Although they wanted to have the Silver Tower key, one must also stay alive in order to enjoy it. Haha, this friend is indeed quite powerful. No wonder you are able to obtain the 3rd silver key. Pang Hao on the stone building watched this scene with a smile. He immediately clapped and laughed. While he spoke, the ridicule within Pang Tong's eyes had also greatly diminished. He knew about the reputation of the Blood Blade 4 generals. If they worked together, they would even be able to resist a perfect profound life stage expert. However, they were all killed by Lin Dong within such a short span of time. It seems like the latter's strength had somewhat exceeded his expectations. Seated within the stone building, Liu Xiangshuang was playing with the jade ring on her finger with her long delicate hand. Her pretty eyes were lifted slightly as she stared at the skinny figure in the distance. A slight smidgen of surprise flashed across her narrow eyes. It seems like Lin Dong is indeed no simple individual. No wonder he was able to snatch the Silver Tower from a profound death stage expert. Even though he had most likely used some tricks in the process, the end result was still something that he could be proud of. After all, this was a feat no ordinary individual could achieve. Lin Dong rubbed off the trace of blood on his hand while standing on the ancient street. He subsequently turned his head and looked indifferently at the smiling Pang Hao. This person was indeed a smiling tiger. If it was not because Lin Dong had fell into his trap earlier, it was likely that he would have thought that this person was quite a friendly individual. Pang Hao, I am not interested in fighting with you. Hence, you should not plot against me. If you continue to do so, I will simply take my Silver Tower key and leave the Sky Lightning Sea region. At that time, no one will stand to benefit. Lin Dong stared at Pang Hao and spoke in a faint voice. Pang Hao narrowed both of his eyes. The smile on his face seemed to have become even denser as he laughed. What is Brother Lin Dong saying? I have not done anything to you. Instead, I have merely kindly invited you to join us. Pang Hao paused after speaking until this point. His smile appeared to become slightly chilled. I know that you are quite skilled. However, you still do not possess the qualifications to act haughtily in front of my 9 Serene Gate. Is that so? A cold glint flashed within Lin Dong's eyes. The green light on his body, which had weakened slightly, once again erupted like floodwaters. Pang Hao also lifted his hand gently as he watched this scene. A rushing wind sound immediately appeared in the sky behind him. Many figures appeared in the air above the city in a ghost-like fashion. These individuals also possess extremely powerful auras, and almost all of them had the strength of a profound life stage. The many experts within the city lifted their brow slightly upon seeing this. From the looks of it, Pang Tong seems to be intending on attacking Lin Dong and snatching the Silver Tower key from the latter's hand. Lin Dong lifted his head. His eyes swept over the sky before finally pausing behind Pang Hao. 3 powerful figures had appeared in a flash. Based on the aura emitted from their bodies, they seemed to have half a foot into perfect profound life stage. Ha! The 4 demon generals of the 9 Serene Gate are all here. These 4 individuals are the most outstanding individuals from the younger generation in 9 Serene Gate. The 9 Serene Gate is actually willing to dispatch all of them this time around. A man behind Pang Hao parted his mouth and smiled amidst the conversations that filled the sky. Both his eyes were somewhat sinister as he stared at Lin Dong in the distance. He laughed. Big brother, this little fellow doesn't seem to give us any face. Why don't we directly attack him and snatch the Silver Tower key? Pang Hao smiled densely and nodded. The eyes of the 3 individuals behind Pang Hao turned dark and cold after seeing the latter nod. Majestic Yuan power suddenly erupted. The 3 of them charged forward at the same time. After which, they formed many afterimages in the midair. Their bodies pounced towards Lin Dong in a ghost-like fashion. 3 half-step to perfect profound life stage experts attacking at the same time. This lineup was quite frightening. Lin Dong lifted his head. He watched the 3 ghost-like figures being rapidly magnified in his eyes. However, just as he was about to attack, a delicate figure suddenly took the lead to charge forward. A huge black coffin cover appeared in her hands. After which, she swung it ruthlessly. Black light shot out and heavily smashed onto the 3 figures that were rushing over. Bang! A low and muffled sound appeared in the air. Immediately everyone was stunned to see the 3 ferociously attacking figures were sent flying. They subsequently staggered backwards in the air before forcefully stabilizing their bodies. However, all their expression appeared ugly and stunned when they showed themselves. You actually dare to send out such trash? Aren't you afraid that this little grandaunt will squash them to death? The delicate little figure stood in the air. Her hands were hugging the black coffin cover, which could cover her entire body. After which, she looked at the 3 human figures being sent flying with disdain. Her clear silver bell-like voice was filled with mockery. This little girl is actually at perfect profound life stage. The countless pairs of eyes from around the place were stunned as they looked at the green-clothed little girl standing in the air. The fluctuation emitted from within the latter's body had actually reached the perfect profound life stage. Her strength was already comparable to Pang Hao and Liu Xiaoxuan. Pang Hao was also slightly startled because of this unexpected change. His eyes were gloomy as he glanced at Mu Lingshan and coldly laughed. I was wondering where your courage stems from. It seems like you have found quite a powerful ally. However, do you think that you have sufficient strength just because of this? Even though the Sky Lightning Sea region does not allow the top experts from my 9 Serene gate in, do you truly believe it is impossible for me to finish you off? Why don't you come and give it a try? A cold glint flashed across Lin Dong's eyes, but he did not give in. Although countless experts from the 9 Serene gate have surfaced, Lin Dong was also clearly aware that this was not the full extent of their lineup. The 9 Serene gate was stronger than the demonic wind cave. It would simply be a little too stingy for them to only dispatch these people. Even though this was the case, Lin Dong did not feel any fear. This was because even if a profound death stage expert was truly following beside Pang Hao, he was able to rely on his devouring sky corpse to tie down such an expert. He did not wish to find trouble. However, if trouble came looking for him, he would also send it flying with a kick. The smile on Pang Hao's face was gradually scattered. Majestic Yuan power surged around him. There was quite a shocking aura spreading from him. Pang Hao had also reached the perfect profound life stage. Mu Lingshan's small hand once again tightened her grip on the life-death coffin cover after she detected Pang Hao's move. It appeared as though a major fight would immediately break out at the first sign of a disagreement. You two, the reason we came here is because of the reincarnation cave. Yet, we have already begun to fight even before we enter the cave. Don't you think that this is a little too reckless? A gentle and indifferent voice was suddenly emitted from the building just as both parties were engaged in a face-off. After which, everyone saw a white dress drifting as Liu Xiangshuan gently moved her feet and slowly walked forward. Her extremely beautiful face appeared in front of countless pairs of eyes. Lin Dong looked at the white-clothed woman, who had stepped forward. A stunned expression flashed across his eyes. In terms of appearance, it was likely that amongst the women he had met over these years, only Ling Qingzhu was comparable to her. Both of you possess a silver tower key respectively. We will still need to cooperate in order to open the cave. If anyone meets with a mishap during this period of time, it would likely end up delaying the opening of the cave. Pang Hao's eyes flickered after hearing this. The smile on his face resurfaced. Xiangshuan is right. In that case, I shall temporarily stop fighting today. Lin Dong glanced at the two of them. He was too lazy to even utter any unnecessary words as he turned around and left. Mu Lingshan immediately followed him after seeing this. This friend, the lightning storm over the Sky Lightning Sea region will ease 3 days later. It will be our best opportunity to enter. Hopefully, you will also show up. After all, opening the cave requires 3 keys. Liu Xiangshuan looked at Lin Dong's back. Her red lips were gently parted as she spoke. I will get moving 3 days later. Lin Dong did not turn around. He merely waved his hand, moved his body and rushed out of the city. He swiftly vanished in front of the countless pairs of eyes. Ha ha, it seems like even Xiangshuan's charm did not do much this time around. That little fellow is completely unromantic. Pang Hao looked at Lin Dong, who had left swiftly, before involuntarily laughing out loud. Liu Xiangshuan merely smiled faintly after hearing this. Even though she was aware just how deadly her charm on men was, it did not mean that every man would grovel under her skirt. From the way Lin Dong attacked previously, it was clear that he was an extremely decisive and tough man. Beauty likely did not have much effect on him. The atmosphere within the city once again relaxed after Lin Dong's departure. Many people's eyes were flickering as they looked at the direction which Lin Dong had left. Ultimately, no one did anything. The strength that Lin Dong and the little girl beside him had displayed earlier was quite a powerful deterrence. Everyone knew it would not be no mean feat to snatch the silver tower key from Lin Dong's hand. Of course, there were also some observers watching this with cold eyes. There were many experts who had hurried to the reincarnation cave this time around. This naturally included some who hid their strength. Clearly, none of them were planning on exposing themselves at this moment. This trip to the reincarnation stage experts' cave was still filled with many deep and unknown factors. While Lin Dong was leaving the city, he did not discover that 3 individuals were staring at his back from a mountain, which was a short distance from the city. The clothes of these 3 individuals had a symbol with intersecting black and white colors. It appeared as though there was a mixture of yin and yang. Lin Dong would definitely recognize this symbol if he saw it. This was because this symbol represented a certain sect. That sect was called Yuan Gate. This video will